Texas may have a new way to keep up with power demand. State power regulators and grid managers are launching a pilot project to turn homes into power plants.
The KVUE defenders investigated what options are available and what's standing in the way. Here's investigative reporter Erica Proctor.
We're currently producing 7.1 kilowatts of power.
Kilowatts are of little concern to Sam Kassou.
Yeah, so we have a little over 16 kilowatt hour system.
At 9 a.m.,
our system is fairly large.
The solar panels on his roof,
So the dryer's running, AC's running.
collected nearly 10 times the power Sam needed.
Our community is all electric. So we don't have gas, water heaters or gas heat, gas stove. Everything is electric, so we consume a lot of energy.
And in February 2021, he felt the weight of that energy. A deadly winter storm caused blackouts across Texas. Hundreds died. Sam was without power for days.
It's 39 degrees inside the house.
He stayed with family, didn't have solar panels at the time, but it wouldn't matter anyway. Power flows from either a power plant, solar farm, or wind turbines through high voltage transmission lines, then gets converted to low voltage distribution lines, then to your home. In Texas, rooftop solar doesn't power the home. It goes to the grid. Homes draw off the grid, unless...
So these are the power walls that power our house.
If the power goes out, Sam has enough battery storage to power his whole house.
I don't worry whatsoever.
But without power loss, the batteries aren't needed. So what if those batteries could help others in the meantime?
Texas is a big state. There's bound to be instances where Houston, Dallas are experiencing something and may need to borrow from us, and I can provide and get something back out of it without necessarily being affected. I'm totally cool with doing that.
There is a way.
They are a very fast resource.
Scott Henson is the Chief Technology Officer with Pecan Street Incorporated. They do energy data research for businesses and governments. Henson studied how someone like Sam could use his backup battery to help everyone and get paid for it. It's called a virtual power plant.
A virtual power plant it is a way to balance the grid.
Virtual power plants work like this. Using Sam's home, the electricity from his solar panels would go to the grid like normal. If there's a power emergency or strong demand, he could also sell some of his stored battery power. A company would pull from his battery and from others, creating a virtual power plant.
And they bid that energy resource into the distribution or transmission grid.
Right now, it's not allowed for residents. The Power Grid Manager, Electric Reliability Council of Texas, or ERCOT, needs the Public Utility Commission of Texas to approve the idea.
This is incredibly complex. Everything from how does it impact the customer? What are the customer protection rights?
We asked PUC Chairman Peter Lake about it.
There are a lot of questions that need to be answered. We're confident we can answer them, but we're going to be deliberate and thorough to make sure that we get it right before we plug it in.
It's only valuable if it's reliable.
In June, Lake and the other commissioners agreed to launch a pilot project.
The bigger we make this, the longer systematically it's going to take to implement.
They invited energy companies to weigh in on how it should work.
We might not be interested in participating in the program if it's that small.
Right.
What you put in might be more than what we get out of it.
We're going to make sure to maximize that potential, but at the same time, always ensure that reliability is our absolute priority.
The idea isn't new. Green Mountain Power in Vermont started using virtual power plants in 2017, 5 years ago. They now lease backup batteries to homeowners that can't afford to pay for one. It expands their virtual power plant. At home, Austin Energy proved a similar concept nearly a decade ago.
And then that's kind of our controller in the middle. That's the brains of the whole system there.
Cameron Freeberg manages Austin Energy's Emerging Technology Program.
You see kind of climate control systems on each one of those battery systems.
He showed the KVUE defenders how they use batteries in the Miller neighborhood, the results of a project done with the U.S. Department of Energy.
And then from there, under the ground to a bigger area, like a substation.
Correct, yeah. These battery systems are all tied to a substation over there.
The batteries inside these climate-controlled boxes store energy from rooftop solar on nearby homes.
That's the tech. That's the actual electrons in the white boxes.
The energy can go to other areas in the city or the state's grid.
Are those batteries used for backup, or is it like during peak demand?
Yeah, more so during peak demand.
Austin's battery is owned and operated by Austin Energy. So while the homeowner is credited for their solar power, Austin Energy is paid for what comes out of the city's battery. Austin Energy warned PUC a statewide plan using small personal batteries could overwhelm the system. The state filings show drawing power from personal items like home backup batteries will necessitate improvements that will impose significant costs. So Austin Energy suggested those, if being paid to supply power from their batteries, should also pay for those costs. So the homeowner. It's to avoid placing burdens on other customers, the filing shows. Austin Energy was one of a dozen who filed ideas with the state.
We all need to do our part when we can do our part.
For now, the only way Sam can use his battery to help the grid when demand peaks, when it's more efficient, he'll take himself off the grid.
Because you're contributing to the well-being of the earth.
Rely on his batteries.
Do you feel like you're giving back? Do you?
That would be my goal. I think it's a good thing to do, and I think it is leaning towards selfless.
Yeah.
Yep.
Leaning towards.
Yeah, yeah.
For the KVUE Defenders, I'm Erica Proffer.